So if you're away last day, we started a new unit. It's about percentages. It's a very short one. We'll be done it this week. We'll start another one. It's only like 3 or 4 lessons long. So we looked at percentages, and we said that percentages can be written as percentages, fractions, decimals, and hundred squid, and we didn't really talk about those. And all we did is like, hey, how do we do the 100 squid? That's what we sort of did last day. And so if you missed it, watch last day's video on the class website. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. So today, we're going to talk about the different forms that percentages can be written in and how to convert between one form and the other. So we'll be looking at, hey, how do you convert between a fraction and a percent, and between fractions and decimals, and between decimals and percent. We're going to look at how do you convert between all these different things. They all mean the same thing, just in different formats. All right? So let's start off with a few examples here. So if I gave you this question last term, or last unit, and said, hey, what fraction does this diagram represent? What would you force? Yeah, 3/4. Like 3 out of 4 are shaded. Right? Now, how do we turn that 3 out of 4 into a decimal? You guys know how to do that?
Don't you times it by 100?
No, you're stepping ahead here. Right? So, remember, the fraction line just means divide, right? It means 3 divided by 4. It's just another way of writing division symbol. So if you grab your calculator and you went 3 divided by 4, you would end up with 0.75. So you are going to need your calculators for this chapter, okay? So that's where this 0.75 comes from. And you may know that already. You know, like 3/4 is 75 cents, and that's more of an intuitive number, right? Now, to convert the percentage to, the decimal to a percentage, what do we do, Lachlan?
Times it by 100.
We times that decimal by 100. So we go 75 times 100 is 0.75 is 75. Or we just move the decimal 2 places to the right. Okay? Now, let's take a moment here and have you do example 1 here. So look at these diagrams. Give me the fraction that the diagram represents for the shaded area. Give me the decimal. Give me the percentage. All right? So you got 2 diagrams. All right, so let's do this. So what's the first fraction? 1/4. Okay. Then we want to write it as a decimal. So we just divide the numbers. 1 divided by 4, Tiara, what is it?
25%.
No?
Oh, 0.25.
0.25 or 0.25, all right? So you divide the numbers, then you go from a decimal to a percentage, you multiply by 100, what would that be?
25%.
25, and remember to include the percent symbol, okay?
Does the percent symbol come after or before?
Afterwards. Okay. Okay, what's our second fraction? Second diagram here. Mate, what do we got for the shaded area, for the circle here?
I thought we were only supposed to do the one, but shaded areas.
Not the one underneath. Let's do it together. Looking at it. What is it?
There's 4 shades,
4 out of how many?
5.
5. Excellent. Okay. Then we grab our calculator. We go, hey,
0.80.
4 divided by 5. Just divide the 2 numbers. 0.8. Then what is it?
80%.
80% times by 100.
Wait, could you do 0.80?
Could you take?
Yeah, you could put a 0 here. That's fine.
Okay.
Right? If that helps you. Right? Okay.
Is it wrong if we put 0.80?
No. It means the same thing. Just trailing zeros after a decimal aren't necessary. Right? They don't add anything to the number, except for when you get into grade 11, grade 12, they in chemistry, they have meaning to it. Talk about precision, right? Okay, now, 99% of the time, that's what we're gonna do, stuff like that, okay? Now, last day, we said that percentage is just a special fraction because it means out of 100. So instead of writing a fraction 1 over 4 like we did here, how do we write it as out of 100, right? If we had 1 over 4,
25.
right? It'd be 25 over 100. So now there's two ways to approach this. We go, hey, we want to turn the 4 into 100. What do we need to multiply 4 to turn into 100? Times by 25. Now, if you have troubles doing that, what you can do is go look at the two bottom numbers and you go take the bigger number, divide it by the smaller number. That'll tell you, hey, that's what you're multiplying by. So that means you're multiplying this by 25. So 1 times 25? 25.
Or could you like just divide it and then times it by 100?
You can divide it and times it by 100. You can do that as well. I'm just showing different techniques because there's weird kind of questions that may ask you to do different kind of things, right? Right? I personally just take the 25% and go, hey, it's 25 over 100 from the percentage, right? All right. So if I wanted to write this fraction as out of 100, because percentages are out of 100, what do I have to do to convert 200 to 100?
Divided by 2.
You divide by 2. What would I have to do here to determine what that top number is? It's the same thing. You divide by 2. So you go, what's 94 divided by 2? Grab our calculators, or you might be able to do it in your head. 47. Right? And once you have it as a percentage, 47 over 100 is 47%. Okay? Now sometimes, as with all fractions, you want to reduce it to lowest term. So it's connecting the stuffs that we did last day. So if you have 80%, what is that as a fraction?
8 over 10.
Or 80 over 100, right? Then we go in lowest terms. Noah was already progressing that way. What was?
8 over 10.
Yeah, there's 80 over 100. You know you can divide both numbers by 10, right? They both end in 0, so you can divide it by 10, divided by 10, so that'd be just 8. 80 divided by 10 is 8, 100 divided by 10 is 10.
Or couldn't that just be 4 over 5?
Yeah, and then they can be further reduced because you're still with two even numbers.
So should we put 8 over 10 or 4 over 5?
Eventually, so we're going to divide this by 2. It's okay if you don't do it in one step. So that would be 4 over 5, right? If you saw right off the bat, instead of dividing by 10, you say, hey, I can divide by 20. Then you could have gone straight to 4 over 5, right? But sometimes you just don't see that. Okay, getting to a little bit harder example. Now, what's 12.5% as written as a fraction? What would that be?
Is it 1 and 2 over 5?
No? Remember, to convert a percentage to a fraction,
12.5.
it would be just 12 and a half. It would be just 12.5. Now that makes, as a fraction, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like normally we do say 12 and a half out of 100, we'd say that a lot, but as a fraction, true sense of fraction, we want whole numbers, right? So we go, hey, we want to get rid of that decimal. So to get rid of that decimal, we have to multiply by 10. So it just means moving the decimal one more spot over this way. If you do that to the top, you have to do that to the bottom. So it would be 125 over 1,000. Right. Then if you wanted to reduce it, this is where the hard stuff comes in. How could you reduce this? What could you divide by? Right? Right? You could, ends in 5, so most likely you can divide by 5. And I'll tell you that you can actually divide by 25. Okay? So 125 divided by 25 is 5. And 1,000 divided by 25 is 40. Okay? Is this reduced? Can it go further? It can go further. Then what was it? I heard somebody from over here. No? What can we divide by? Divide by 5. Okay, and this is maybe one question on the test that'll make you do something like this difficult. 5 divided by 5 is 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8. Okay? Is that hard?
No.
No? Awesome, if you find it easy. Okay. Example 2. 3 over 5 as a fraction for out of 100. What would it be? What would the numerator be? 60. Yeah, how did you do it? How did you get the 60?
Well, 3 over 5 would be like, it's just like 20, so you have 20 goes into 5, right?
Yeah.
Into 100.
Yeah, so times it by 20, times by 20. So what's 60 over 100?
60.
60%. So now you can do percentages without using a calculator. So if I gave you a question like, hey, what's 3 over 5? What percentage it is? You can actually do it without using a calculator.
Wait, how? Oh, okay.
Just exactly what we did right here. Okay. Next question. The 17 over 20. What is that at a fraction over 100?
85.
And how did you get 85, Lachlan?
I used the calculator.
All right. Or
I times it by however many.
by 5.
5.
20 goes into 100 5 times, so I have to multiply the top by 5. 17 times 5 is 85. Okay? As a percentage, that's the easy part, 85%. Okay. Let's just do the bottom one here, and we'll go on to the next page where we do a lot more practice. So the 250 as a fraction, 250 percentage as a fraction, what would that be?
It'd be 0.25.
No?
I don't know.
So percentages, what are they out of? Out of 100. What's the top number? 250. So you scored more than 100% on the test. And some of you guys have done that.
What?
Yeah, there's people in this class who've got more than 100% on the test.
Which one?
Hey, you said it wasn't you, I guess, huh? Okay, so is this in lowest terms?
No.
Okay, how can we reduce this?
They can both be divided by 25.
You can divide by 25. So the top number divided by 25 is what? 50?
No, I said can you divide it by 50 too?
You probably could. You can try. Let's go 250 divided by 50 is 5. So you want to do it by 50s? 50 divided by 50, so that's 5 over 2. Okay? All right. On to the last page. Yeah, we skipped that question on purpose. We're doing a lot more practice over here.
Wait, why?
Because we're doing more practice on here. I'm going to give you more time for your assignments. Assignments.
Assign. What? No S's.
We have 2 days.
No S's.
Day 1 and day 2.
No S's.
Okay. We're going to do this one together.
Wait, I
Okay.
don't understand.
If here we're filling the blanks. If you want to go 0.13 into a percentage, what would that be? 13. We times by 100, right? 13%, right? And what's that as a fraction?
13 over 100.
13 over 100, right? It's easy to go from percentage to fraction and decimal to percent, right?
So we don't have to reduce on our.
You can simplify if you can, but 13 is a prime number, so that can't be simplified. Okay, what's 23 over 100 as a percentage?
0.23.
As a percentage or as a decimal?
It would be 23%.
It would be 23%. As a percentage, you just take the top number, right? If it's out of 100. And what's it as a decimal?
0.23.
0.23. We either divide the 23 divided by 100, or we look at the percentage and just move the decimal 2 spaces to the left, right? 0.23. Okay. Next question. What's 47% as a decimal? 0.47. Thank you, Dylan. So we divided by 100 to go here. Okay. What's that as a fraction?
47 over 100.
Perfect. 47 over 100. Right?
47 is fine.
There we go. Okay. Next one. Which one do you want to do? We have 1.01. What's easier for you to do first? As a percentage or as a fraction? Okay, as a fraction, what would it be? It's out of 100.
So it'd be 101 over.
Yeah, 101 over, right? Right? And what would it be as a percentage?
101.
Yeah. Oops. 101%. Right? Just being able to convert between all the ones. And then 101 is a prime number, so we can't simplify that either. Okay, 12 and a half as a decimal. What would that be? What would that be? Right? What are we doing? We got to take our number to go from here to here. We have to divide
0.125.
by 100.
Yeah, 0.125.
Yep, 0.125. Or move the decimal 2 places to the left. So if you're not comfortable, just do it on your calculator. Divide by 100. 0.25. 1.25. Okay, what is it as
5 over 25 over 100.
25 over 100?
100.
125? Nope. It'd be 125 over 1,000. Or 12.5 over 100. Right? We have 3 digits in our decimal, so we have to put 3 zeros after that 1. Do you see that? Right? I'm not sure if everybody sees it. Let me do a signed example here. Remember on the other page we did 0.8?
Yeah.
We could have, as a fraction, just go 8, 1, 0. Like with 1 decimal, 1 digit after the 0. 1 digit after the decimal, so we just 1 0. Follow the 1. But some of you guys are like, hey, that's actually 80%, and you wanted to do this. So that'd be 80, and there's 2 digits after the 0, so it'd be 2 digits after the decimal, so it'll be 2 zeros. It'll be 80 over 100. They mean the same thing. All right? Yes, Dylan?
Then for 101, move that 101 over 1,000.
No. We're only moving, there's only 2 digits after that decimal. The 0 and the 1. Right? It's how many are after the decimal? All right? There's only 2.
Yeah, but there's only 1 after the 12.25.
No, there's 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? Okay. All right. And on the other side of the page, we reduced 125, right? Over 1,000. We did that. If you wanted to write it as the simplest form, we did it. So I'm not going to reduce it here. So what would 4 over 5 be as a decimal? 4/5.
0.8.
Yeah. So we just take it, if you're on your calculator, just divide it. 4 divided by 5. Right? 0.8. What's that as a percentage? 80. Right? 80%. You take your decimal and you times it by 100. 0.8 times 100. 80%. Okay? Try this side on your own. Fill in the missing blanks. Right? And I will slowly put up the answers here, so you can just look up. So looking around, most are done. I did notice a few minor errors walking around. Looking at the answers here, do you see where you made your mistake, or do you need to highlight me to talk about one of these ones? Yes, Gordon.
The second last one, is that 1,325 over 10,000?
It would be 10,000. Right? We start off with over 100, 13.25 over 100, but we still have 2 decimal places to the right, so we need to add another 2 more zeros after that 100. So we end up having 4 zeros. All right? Does that make sense? Right? Then that's a huge number. You can reduce that further. I just didn't bother with it. I personally would not put you through that misery on a test. All right? Anything else? No? Okay. Let's do a 25-minute break. All right?
45.
25.